The Global Story is the podcast helping you make sense of the news. Join me, Katya Adler, every weekday as I take a closer look at the stories making the headlines, with insights from the BBC's global network of experts. Search for The Global Story wherever you get your BBC podcasts.
Hello, welcome to NewsHour. It's live from the BBC World Service studios in central London. I'm Tim Franks. And we begin with the news of the death of one of the most towering figures in diplomacy in decades, indeed in the entire 20th century. Henry Kissenger was the most powerful US Secretary of State since the Second World War. He died at the age of 100, having lived a life of extraordinary consequence and controversy. We'll try to assess both aspects of his influence, an influence of unparalleled longevity. Just think first that since the founding of the United States in 1776, there have been 46 presidents. Kissinger dispensed advice to 12 of them. He also met every leader of the People's Republic of China, from Mao Zedong to Xi Jinping. One of his signature achievements was in 1972 to open up relations between the US and Communist China. Sam Rainsy remembers the terror well. He's a Cambodian activist, economist and politician who now lives in exile as a result of being a leading opposition figure. What does he make of Kissinger's legacy?
Mr. Henry Kissenger shared the responsibility for the bombing of Cambodia in 1970s, and it caused the death of many innocent people in my home country.
From what I understand, Kissinger's argument, at least at the time, was that North Vietnam, with whom the US was at war, it was supplying its troops, its fighters, through Cambodia in a way to prosecute its war in the south. And that is what made Cambodia a target. What do you make of that argument?
I think responsibilities are shared by the Cambodian government under Prince Norodom Sihanouk then, who allowed North Vietnamese troops to cross Cambodia in their way to South Vietnam. And I understand to some extent that the US has to react. But the means used by the US administration were not right, were immoral. The carpet bombing was blind and they killed countless innocent people. And what I deplored is the secrecy of the decision-making process in a democracy. And Kissinger pushed Nixon to take the most controversial decisions.
So, in other words, it wasn't just that it was indiscriminate bombing, it was also the fact that, in a way, no one within the United States was able openly to question this. I wonder also whether, you've talked about the countless numbers who died in the bombing, how far you link all the destabilization of Cambodia that happened then with the terrible events that followed, the Khmer Rouge coming to power and the millions who lost their lives under their appalling rule.
The bombings create an anti-American sentiment. And definitely this has helped the Khmer Rouge guerrillas, the Khmer Rouge led by Pol Pot, to mobilize Cambodian farmers who were victims of those bombing to join their revolutionary movement, which finally ended up with a genocide.
Sam Rainsy, Cambodian politician now in exile, talking about Henry Kissenger, the former US Secretary of State, whose death has been announced at the age of 100. You're listening to NewsHour with me, Tim Franks.